game.
Wow. So the day happens, we're going into Poland.
Yep. Before that, there's a question of what the Soviets are going to do. This is another interesting little wrinkle.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Soviets are obviously seeing this, and they're like, okay, Hitler doesn't like us.
Yeah.
Poland doesn't like us.
Right.
That, like, he's moving our way.
Yep.
Like, obviously the Soviets are going to defend themselves.
Yep.
Are the Soviets involved in the League of Nations?
They are, although they've left it by this point.
Got it. And why did they leave it? They just thought this wasn't going to benefit us. This is stupid.
Yeah. They saw it. They had come in kind of late, and then they left, seeing it as a kind of capitalist democratic
farce
plot. Yeah.
Got it.
The thing here is some of the British leaders and some of the French start thinking, well, if we're going to have a war where Germany invades Poland, it would be great to have the Soviets on our side, because that's actually some stopping power. Like, that's a big country with a big population and a big army. They can probably stop the Germans. It's going to be harder for us, especially geographically. It's going to be harder for us. So the British and French start negotiating with the Soviets in the summer of 1939 about having an alliance directed against Germany. There are two problems. One is that especially the British leadership, especially Prime Minister Chamberlain, is not incredibly excited about having the Soviets as an ally. Chamberlain writes a letter to one of his sisters in which he says something that's almost funny. It's sort of sweet in its way. He says, "I don't think the Soviets share our ideas of liberty." It's like, yeah, probably not. Safe call was
a couple million people starved there like last winter.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't think they have the same values.
Yeah. I mean, they're really anti-communist. I mean, most people in Europe who aren't actually communists in those days are really anti-communist.
Oh, that's an interesting predicament.
It's fairly typical for especially conservative Europeans to see the Soviet Union as at least as bad, if not maybe worse, than Hitler's Germany. So there's not a ton of excitement.
Wow. So they're like, look, we hate the Soviets, but we hate Germany more, and they're more of a threat to us right now.
There's a tipping point here. It's becoming the case, especially in 1939. Prior to that, they would probably have said, actually, we hate the Soviets more. But in 1939, it's becoming the case that Germany does look like more of a threat. So it's like, I guess we got to try and talk to the Soviets.
Wow.
So they do.
So they buddy up?
They talk, but then what happens is the Soviets say, okay, fine, we can be allies, but we're going to need to send troops into Poland. The Poles will have to be okay with this, and the Poles kind of aren't. And plus, we'll need the Baltic, and we'll need Finland. We'll need all this stuff. We'll need to be able to control it. And the British and French, I think, understandably, the Baltic states are independent at this point. They've become independent after World War I.
And when you say Baltic states?
Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia.
Got it.
They're newly independent states. Finland, which had been part of the Russian Empire before World War I, is a newly independent state.
Wow.
And the Russians are basically saying, well, we got to take all this over. And the British and French are like, So
they're like, you're just trying to land grab like Hitler. What the hell?
Yeah. So kind of understandably, they have trouble agreeing to that. And so basically the Soviets say, look, I mean, if you're not going to agree to this, we can't be partners with you against the Germans. Meanwhile, Hitler sort of knows this is going on.
Wow.
And Hitler has no scruples. And so Hitler basically conveys to Stalin, you can have whatever you want. You be my ally. Yeah, Baltic, Finland, Romania, like whatever kind of turns your crank, like you can have that. And so Stalin recognizes which side his bread is buttered on. And so Stalin then suddenly makes a deal with Hitler. Famous Hitler-Stalin Pact, which is announced to the world in late August 1939.
Wow.
Suddenly this alliance. Now there's a public and there's a private part to the Hitler-Stalin Pact. Public part is there's a non-aggression pact between Germany and the Soviet Union for 10 years. They promise not to attack each other for 10 years. The quiet part, the secret part, is they sort of divide like Eastern and Northern Europe up between them. So the Soviets can have, the Baltics and Finland and a chunk of Romania, and the Germans get like a chunk of Poland, and the Soviets get half of Poland. They're going to split up Poland.
Wow.
So they make this deal on August 22nd, 1939.
Now, what is Hitler thinking here? Because he's like, I'm trying to take over Russia. So I'm going to try and take over the USSR. So is his angle like, look, I'd rather have you be my ally right now. We can help kind of neuter all these Western European powers. And then when the time comes, you and I can have a showdown.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, Hitler's what you call an opportunist. He makes it up as it goes along. He figures right now, if the problem is I want to invade Poland and the Soviet Union as a potential enemy right now is a problem, especially if I'm going to be in a war with Britain and France, got to neutralize that problem. So I'll neutralize that problem for now. I can deal with that problem later. He's just, totally making it up as he goes.
Interesting. So there's these three powers. You have the British in Western Europe, you have Germany, and then you have Russia. They all kind of hate each other.
Yep.
But you need to form, you can't fight a war on two fronts.
Right.
So basically it's like, who's going to make a deal?
Yep.
Wow.
That's exactly it.
That's interesting little game theory right there.
Yeah.